and welcome to this video with me, Rose from Minerva. Now for today's video we'll be looking at a range of patterns and fabrics that we can adapt into a cottagecore style. So cottagecore was popularised a few years ago by the idea of a simple rural lifestyle, taking us away from screens and technology and the stresses of modern life. So cottagecore itself actually goes way back in time. It's a lot further than what you think, and it is the idea of just a simple lifestyle, you know, indulging in crafts and hobbies such as gardening, embroidery and bread making. Fashion items for cottagecore can be things like blouses, flowy, movable materials, relaxed, easy to wear. Natural fibres are always nice, such as linens and cottons. If you're into bread making and gardening, then aprons are a good set of garments to make. And it's less about fast fashion, chucking things away at the end of the day, and instead more about making them to last. So make do and mend, you know, rather than chucking something away if it's broken, you mend it instead, and it's getting the good quality materials that are going to be durable. So if we go back in time, if things were broken, they mended them rather than chuck them out and get some new ones. Cottagecore does go further than fashion, of course. It can seep into home decor, nice and cosy, bringing the outside in, and it can really be a lovely way of life. The new look 6892 is a blouse pattern, and it's really what I would consider as like a staple for a cottagecore wardrobe. It comes in 6 different styles. We've got A through to F. View A is a long sleeve with the elasticated cuffs. View B is elbow length with the ruffle. C and D, which are short sleeves. E, which is that ruffle neckline, and then F, which is the straps, the thin straps. It's a loose fitting garment, and if you're layering up this garment with, say, a corset or maybe a skirt, then it's a good option to have underneath those types of garments. Comes in sizes 6 to 16, and it is for both woven and non-stretch materials. I'll go more on the lightweight side with the lightweight side materials with this pattern. First fabric we have is a Minerva Core Range 100% cotton poplin fabric, and it's a non-stretch woven material. So it's made from 100% cotton, which is a typical cotton. It's very light and very breathable, incredibly light actually. It's a lovely poplin material. It doesn't have much of a flow or a float to it, instead it's a little bit more crisp, but it works really well for this pattern because of the elasticated elements around the neckline and around the cuffs. The gathers that the elastic is going to make, this fabric's going to hold on to them really well and create some really nice fine gathers. Floaty or flowy material, you might lose that a little bit, so having a poplin is going to work really nicely. This is the beige colour, but it does come in more than 35 other colours, so there's a good range of colours there. For cottagecore, especially for blouses, I would stick with more light colours, so whites, beiges, ivories, because it just creates a nice base for, say, putting on an apron over top or a skirt, where you could have the more deeper colours in those types of garments. Our next fabric is a printed poly cotton fabric, and this is made from 65% polyester and 35% cotton. It's a woven non-stretch material, and as you can see, the print of this pattern is small ditzy flowers, so it's a perfect printed fabric for cottagecore really. So the one I have here is blue and cream, so we've got that cream background, and then we've got the light blues, the dark blues, and the green stems on top. It kind of reminds me of the flowers Forget-Me-Nots, those lovely delicate little blue flowers. This is a fabric that could also not just be used for dressmaking, it could also be used for crafts. So quilting, this fabric will work really nicely for that as well. It is a stiffer, stronger material than the poplin, but it's still going to work nicely for this blouse, especially for the gathered elements, the elasticated elements. If you wanted a skirt to go with the previous blouse pattern, then the McCall 7906 is a perfect match for that. It's a full skirt, a full pleated skirt. Those pleats around the waist are nice and deep, really lovely, and it is more of a high-waisted styled garment. All the styles are button floated down the front, and it does come in 4 different styles. So we have Vue A, which is a shorter style, and then the others which are slightly more longer. And there is also the option for bounce loops there if you wanted to wear a bounce with this garment. So the recommended fabrics: linens, twills, cottons, things that are a little bit more heavier weight. Works better with heavyweight materials because you want to be able to show off those pleats. And it comes in sizes 6 to 22. Like I mentioned, for this pattern we need a fabric that is nice, strong and sturdy, and this fabric will work really well for that. It's the 100% cotton twill fabric. Now the reason we need such a strong material is because it needs to hold those pleats really well. If you had a floaty material or a billowy material, it might not work as well. So using a material that's got a little bit more strength to it, more medium to heavy weight, will be a perfect match. So this is the twill fabric. It does have that twill structure through it. It's lovely, strong and durable. And I've got it in the rust colour, but it does come in more than 10 other colours. Next up we have the Gabardino twill fabric, and this is made from 80% polyester and 20% cotton, so it's a good, easy to care for fabric. As the name suggests, it's a mixture between a gabardine fabric and a chino fabric. So we have the twill structure of the gabardine, nice strong material, and then chino elements as well. This is khaki coloured, but it does come in more than 10 other colours, and it has a very subtle sheen to it. It's not shiny or lustrous as such, but it does have a nice appearance to it. A little bit more lightweight than the twill fabric that we had before, but this is still a strong, sturdy material, so it will work absolutely fine for this pattern. Let's take a look at a more historically correct garment now, and this is the Butterick 5509. It's an apron pattern and it comes in 5 different styles, and we have a few bib variations there, and we also have the style without the bib, so it's just a skirt apron. It's all full length, maxi length aprons, but it could very easily be adapted into shorter styles if you wanted a shorter apron. It's classed as an intermediate sew, and it's a pattern really that lends itself well to, say, embellishments, so embroidery, trims, lace trims, crochet trims, that sort of those sort of adaptations. You could go to town really with some hand embroidery on this, you know, down the straps on the bib. It would look really pretty if you were embellishing them with like flowers or floral designs. For an apron, you'd expect it to see a lot of wear, so to have a fabric that is nice and durable is obviously a good option. And this fabric will do the trick because it's a strike ticking canvas fabric. So canvas is much more medium weight to heavy weight, nice and durable. So yeah, this is a good fabric to use with this pattern. So the ticking means it has the stripes, so we have the light coloured stripes behind, then we have the pink on top, and then we have 2 lighter coloured stripes going through the pink. If you're using this fabric for the style that has that bib on the front with the trim around the edge, this would look really nice because you could pick out a matching colour, for example the pink or the cream, and have the trim in those colours. But it does come in a few other colours as well, so if you didn't like the pink and you wanted a different colour, there's a couple of other colours available on the website. It's actually quite a soft material really. For a canvas fabric, for a medium to heavyweight canvas fabric, it's actually quite soft, so it's going to be nice if you were going to make an apron that, say, might be on your skin a little bit more. This is actually quite a soft cotton fabric. And of course you can use it for other things other than aprons. You can use it for bags, cushions maybe. That would also be a nice nice use for this fabric if you were going for, say, the cottagecore home decor style. Next up is the heavy stone washed 100% linen fabric. So it's made from 100% linen. This is slightly more relaxed and drapier than the canvas fabric, where it's a bit more stiffer. This does have a little bit more of a soft feel to it. You can see that it's just a little bit more movable than the ticking fabric. This is a fabric that does have a wonderfully pronounced texture to it. So for a rural lifestyle, cottagecore garments that require a heavy material, this is a great match because it is such a relaxed and organic feeling fabric. New Look 6574 is a dress pattern, and it's slightly more modern than the apron pattern we had, but using nice materials like linens, cottons, maybe floral printed, small floral printed fabrics, and it would have a more sort of cottagecore style to it. There's 3 different styles. We have Vue A, which is full length with a straight hem, full length sleeves as well. Vue B, which is shorter but still has those long sleeves, and then Vue C, which is the same length as Vue B but has short puff sleeves. There is bust darts to this, and it's classed as an intermediate pattern, and it comes in sizes 6 to 18. A couple of other things you'll need to sew this pattern with, and that is a thread. You also need some interfacing, a 22-inch zipper, buttons, and a hook and eye, all of which you can find on our website. The first fabric we have for this pattern is the Minerva exclusive popcorn jelly viscose challis fabric, and it's made from 100% viscose, so it's very breathable, nice and soft, floaty, billowy and lovely and airy to wear. Great breathable fabric this is. So the challis fabric, it does have a good flow to it, a good movement. There, give it a wiggle and you can see just how well this fabric moves. And the pattern is nice and bright and fun. It's just a lovely material that works really well for cottagecore. If you want to add a little bit of colour into cottagecore, then this is a nice fabric to use it with. You could either make a whole garment out of this or use this as an accent fabric in with, say, more of a plainer colour. The pattern itself, cream coloured background, and then these shape colours are built on over top. So we have so many different colours here. It would take me a long time to mention them all, but we've got some purples, pinks, teals and blacks, and they're built up so it's like they've been printed on top of each other. So to match the popcorn jelly fabric we had before, this is the viscose challis fabric, and it's made from 100% viscose. For the pattern you do need a fabric that does move really quite nicely, moves nice, lovely and flowy. It will work better with these types of materials. So like I mentioned with the popcorn jelly fabric, if you wanted to use that fabric as an accent fabric and then have a plain coloured fabric for another part of the garment, then this is the perfect match for that popcorn jelly fabric. It's also a very affordable fabric, so if you needed to make any mock-ups or toys that need a floaty movable fabric, then this is going to work really well. I've got it in the beige, so it does match the background fabric of the popcorn jelly, but it does come in more than 63 other colours. If you also wanted to use a more softer flowy material for, say, the blouse pattern we had to begin with, this will work nicely. Again, the gathers or the elastic will hold this fabric differently. It's going to be much more softer than the crisper cottons, but it will make a more of a relaxed blouse. The McCall 7946 is definitely a cottagecore inspired garment dress pattern. It has elasticated channels around the waist that create those gathers, and the square neckline's really nice as well, and the puff sleeves. So it lends itself more towards lighter weight materials, maybe something that's a little bit more crisper than floaty or flowy, and you could put trims on this as well. So if you wanted to make some ruffles to put around the sleeves or the neckline or the hem of the dress, that would work really nicely with this pattern. Comes in sizes 4 to 22 and it's classed as an easy sew, so it's a perfect pattern for beginners. If you wanted to adapt this pattern slightly and remove those elastic channels around the waist, you could instead use a technique called shearing. And that uses a shearing elastic that goes in the bobbin of your machine. So it creates the same elasticated waist, but it's more even than 2 or 3 channels of elastic. We have the perfect fabric really for this pattern, and this is the Minerva Core Range Suprema Cotton Lawn fabric. It's such a smooth and fine feeling fabric. It's very breathable, incredibly lightweight, and it is made from 100% cotton, so it's so nice against your skin. For those gathers around the waist, the neckline and the sleeves, this is going to work really nicely with that elastic because it's going to create some really fine gathers. This material really is a perfect match for that pattern, and it's also a pretty good match for the blouse that we had at the start of the video. Just because it's so lightweight, it doesn't have too much of a flow to it, and it is quite a crisp material. Next up is the Soft Touch crepe fabric, and this is made from 100% polyester. The amount of colours we have available of this fabric is out of this world. There's more than 170 colours available. So whilst I've gone with the brown and the chocolatey brown colour because I think it suits our rustic cottagecore theme very well, there's so many different colours you can choose from. Soft Touch crepe fabric, it doesn't have too much of a crepe look to it, so it's not overly pronounced. It's quite a fine appearance, and it is very soft. It's going to work lovely for this pattern because it does have a bit more of a flow and a drape to it than the lawn. It's a bit thicker because that lawn was very lightweight. This is still classed as a lightweight material, but it's not as fine as the lawn. So you can see it does have a good movement to this material. It's also incredibly affordable as well. So if you wanted to get this fabric in different colours and have this fabric in your collection, just something that you can, if you had a new pattern and you wanted to try it out with affordable fabric first before you go to more of a expensive material, this is a good one just to have in your stash, ready and waiting for when you have a new project. The last pattern we have is by You Made My Day, and this is the January Dungarees dress pattern. It comes in 2 different sizes. We have the size for 2 to 4 year olds, and then the adult size is 6 to 18, and it's classed as an intermediate sew. Again, it's another pattern that looks like an apron. It's got a nice bib and the skirts with the pockets, and it also has a really nice ruffles going up the straps of the dress. Crossover detail at the back as well, which is really quite nice. You could remove those ruffles if you wanted to, have more of a simple bibbed dungaree style, layer it up with t-shirts or with the blouse. That would work really quite nicely. And you can use pattern fabrics with this. Again, more of, say, linen or twills, more of a heavier weight material. Whatever materials that you use will determine how those ruffles hold. So for example, if you use more of a medium weight or a heavy weight, they'd be quite stiff. If you use something like a cotton, they'd be a little bit more looser. This is the enzyme washed 100% linen fabric, so it's made from linen, which is that natural fibre. It's what I would use for a cottagecore inspired dress, dungarees, apron, because it's such a natural organic looking fabric. The linen is very open weave, so it's nice and breathable, but it is classed as a medium weight to heavyweight material, so it does work well for this pattern. A linen does crease, same with a cotton, it does crease slightly, but really that adds to the charm of the fabric and whatever garment you're making. You know, rural living, you're living off natural fibre, or you're wearing natural fibres, you're not necessarily using man-made fibres. So having a garment that creases slightly, nothing wrong with that, because it just adds to the characteristic and the charm of whatever garment you're making. And lastly is the heavy stone washed linen fabric, again made from 100% linen. This has a slightly softer float to it than the previous linen we had, but it's still a heavyweight material, great for this pattern. Now the texture of this is completely different to the linen. So the enzyme washed linen we had was typical linen open weave. This has more of a pronounced crisscross sort of texture to it, so it does have a different look. Again, with these linens, they are really hardy, really durable, perfect for making do and mend. So for example, if a little area got a bit worn, you could very easily patch it up, and it is also going to work really nicely if you wanted to do some embellishments like embroidery on top of this fabric. It's a nice sturdy material, great and easy to sew, so it's going to work really, really nicely for a range of garments, but especially for this pattern. I hope you've enjoyed going through these patterns with me for our cottagecore inspired / adaptable video. We've looked at 6 different patterns and some fabric pairings. And don't forget that all the patterns and fabrics mentioned in this video you will find in the description box. And if you have any comments or questions, do put them in the comments section and we will do our best to get back to you. And if you haven't already, you can also join the Minerva community, and when you do, you can post about your make. So if you've used any of these patterns or any of these fabrics, post about them, tag me in them, because I would love to see what you've made. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.